Very great morning to you watching Westnile Television, wherever you're catching the show live from Yobosokam. And today is Friday, 16th of June, 2023. My name is Denis Oringi, and I'm here to summarize for you the week with some of the stories that you have been missing. And remember, yesterday, the government of the Republic of Uganda was able to present the budget of the financial year 2023-2024, and I will be diving into some of the highlights of the budget and what are the priorities of the government for the financial year 2023-2024. These and more will be coming your way shortly after getting some of the local stories right from Westnile sub-region and also other regions that we have in this country, Uganda. And do not forget that I will be diving into what we have in the dailies today, what some of the stories making headlines, and I will be letting you know right here on Westnile Television. And allow me to say a very great morning to you, those who are catching us live from different parts of this country. We thank you very much for joining us today, Friday, and it is the start of the weekend. For those who do not know, that weekend starts right today, Friday, tomorrow, and also Sunday, and then we resume back for another week that will be next weekend. So those who are catching us live from Acholi sub-region of Chonin, ko dekotini pinino matin wa for show mamegu mana paro ni kimuintika wat mabe kitemi tumboto kenyu for your show jumatika na waki kabiri mapat manoti tema Chuli district megulu district ma amoro district mela mo akachelki district ma gago ketgum we ape will pi mana meroti karman mi fo makwe pi show meguma pi ko dekopinino matin and Jumutia kanena kudi district minebi pakwash zombo wa inenedi kugwana vinin matin karashel ku district matongtong mautia kanena ya Westnile Television wa foyo show maperi kugwana pinino matin wa shiniaru watu mongo bedo kare mimikuri tego ni Timothy pinino matin eshenga sabish nino biya parabasel pedimira basel oral fareo kupiro wadek abedo kare menyutire lembango motia kana tibere kudite dairo man ko lembango motia kana tibere kuni ngomi Uganda wikuru William Mandahoro agamente ngomi Uganda bedo kare mi keto kitama biak pale bi oral fareo kupiro wadek oral fareo kupiro wen obeshibiri ukare woto kuda slinga di magamete mingome Uganda obeshibiri ukare mirayo ni neno ni ya yik batong pagamento bede ukare bi woto maber en chake kona bede ukare bi nyutiri wiye Kampala kololo kusha mawabede ukare minuto iri mawabibere okare minuto iri kitma slengi jubere okare biketo ko kude ilembe batongto magamento tie ayika ni neno ni ya ju temo enuke ingomi Uganda we could will near ya abibere okare minuti lemba ngomo tie kana temere ngomi Uganda ni ai kudi karatasa kwana ma bebede okare mibino iwa kobang sawa kobang kare edong pire texana ni ya makibede okare mingo lemba ngomo tie kana temere ngomi Uganda ni lo ai kudi karatasi enne karo lembene ebedo iringo rek ka inero lembene mokende tiekane timbre shalkit motiekane timbre kudi kabiri mapiri edong wadu wako for fosh iri ishi opiri kugwana pinu matindi. Viewer, thank you very much for those who are catching us live from different parts of this country who would not be able to understand the local languages that I am really speaking right here, but allow me to tell you that I will be giving you some of the local stories right here and also diving into what we have in the dailies, that is the Daily Moon and the New Vision later on, before diving into what is happening in the world of sports. And you have to know that it's a Friday at exactly 9 a.m. we shall be able to have Lugbara Mabi with Maurice Enrico right there, and so do not forget that particular show that will be coming your way. And so let's start with the local stories that we do have right here from Westnile sub-region. You have to know that Ivu Division Council in Arua City is set to benefit from a 3.7 billion shillings multi-complex administration block. Stakeholders believe that this is the only milestone the council has to be remembered once achieved. Frederick Dramadri reports more on this.
Council in Arua City is set to benefit from a 3.7 billion Ugandan shillings multi-complex administration block and other infrastructures under the private-public partnership arrangement, with the consultants already working on that structural designs. This is expected to house 25 office spaces, a 2,000-seater mini stadium, a hospital, a police headquarters, among others, in the space of 19.5 acres. Stakeholders believe that this is the only milestone the Division Council has to be remembered once achieved.
Yeah, I see some aspect of greenery. I hope that comes very clear in the final designs.
This is what we've always dreamed about. Everybody is focusing here because this is the heart of Oringi.
I want to see clearly how much land is going to be allocated for Mayor's Garden. supposed to leave a space for mayor's garden, an open space. Supposed to be 25% of this area.
The nature of offices should actually change. If this was the fiscal planning department, the head of fiscal planning department and the staff should sit here, this should be their office.
If this artistic impression was already what is on the ground, it can appeal to somebody that you are indeed coming to the offices of the city division.
Avtia Malon, the Ivu Division Mayor, says he is hopeful that the facilities once constructed on the 19.5-acre piece of land located at the division headquarters, this will be a great achievement for the council, and they are ready to avail more land for an investor looking for a partnership with the division for infrastructural projects.
Because for us to achieve these other things, we shall need a lot of revenue. Government is now moving towards council sustaining their developments by the local generated revenues. We have that demonstration already. If you look at how self-government transfers keep reducing every day. We have been here for the last 2 years. We have never received the road fund.
Ashaba Sebwa, an architect with Newton Living Technology Limited that are undertaking the architectural designs for the project, reveals that they shall do their best to ensure that Arua City is defined by IF division infrastructural wise.
The 19.5 acres provide a number of facilities: the mini stadium, mini market, the administration block, the commercial zone, and the hospital, a health facility, and the mayor's gardens.
Meanwhile, Dr. Alice Akelo, Arua Resident City Commissioner, rallies stakeholders to love and contribute towards development to change the face of the city.
Councillors, after here, the two whispering should not be there. This is development for all of us. We should take it with the both hands. Go and encourage the rest that we are moving forward. Nobody should sabotage this unless you are bewitched.
IF Division Council has injected 100 million Ugandan shillings for the architectural designs for the 19.5-acre piece of land, while the Division Council has sold off the idea to the business communities and plans to spend part of their budget for the 3 storage administration block expected to be ready in 3 financial years. Frederick Dramadri, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
All right, thank you very much, Frederick Dramadri, for that report, and I wish Ivu Division well in the struggle to get the money. 3.7 billion that is supposed to be used for constructing this complex that will be able to really provide space for the administration of the division that is right here in the city. We are waiting to see what the city has in plan in regards to the construction of the multi-complex administration block. Arua City deserve also to have a multi-complex administration block, because currently the offices that are being used are the offices that were used when Arua was still a municipality, and so Arua is now a city, and you have to know that more officers have been added on board according to the recent recruitment that the city authority was able to conduct, and so that means that this calls for more office rooms that should really accommodate these new officers who have been really recruited. And so that is what you need to know. For Ivu Division, we wish them well. The 3.7 billion multi-complex administration block, it is a very good move by the division, and I believe that the councillors will be able to bless this particular project. In most cases, it is easy to get a designer who will really come with the architectural design of complex like that, but the real implementation becomes a very big problem simply because of the funding. And I believe that the division will be able to really increase their speed of mobilizing local revenue to finance such project. And also the donors and the well-wishers, we can also really invite you to join the division in as far as constructing these multi-complex administration block is concerned. concerned. And so that's a good one right there, and that is development. And remember, development comes with the negativity and also positivity as well. And so the issues to do with accountability is also another very serious issue that should not really be taken for granted. And so as a development takes up its shape, the aspect of accountability is also very key, because some people tend to take advantage of such projects to benefit themselves, not to benefit the general public. And so that is what I can really make as appeal to you right this morning, as you look forward to seeing that this multi-complex administration block is really constructed right there in Ivo Division in Ondubaraka. All right, away from that, let's get to more stories right here. Party officials from Forum for Democratic Change have unveiled the Forum for Democratic Leadership Academy in Arua City, an initiative aimed at identifying, training and mentoring leaders from the Westnile region to uplift the ambitions and intentions of the party. Emmanuel Agele reports more on this.
Party officials from Forum for Democratic Change have unveiled the FDC Leadership Academy in Arua City. The initiative that is aimed at identifying, training and mentoring leaders from Westnile sub-region is to uplift the ambitions and intentions of the party strategically. The academy, that operates directly under the leadership of the FDC Youth League chairman, Walid Lubega Mulindwa, has stated that the creation of the Leadership Academy and the provision of comprehensive training, the party proves its commitment to producing strong and advanced leaders for the progress of the party and the nation at large.
Our coming to Westnile in Arua is ostensibly to launch the Leadership Academy. Just recently in March, we launched the Leadership Academy as a party. The Leadership Academy, which we established, we thought it will help us to cure the leadership deficiency within the party and the country at large. FDC aims at producing quality leaders in public service, quality leaders within the party structures, just like we are going for party structures. And also, it is an opportunity for us to rebrand as a party. The party is now looking at the direction of having more women, more young people, and PWDs on board. Those are our targeted areas. We are going to have targeted recruitment of members, and thereafter we shall have identification of leaders from the recruited members, and thereafter we are going to have cadreship training from grassroots to national level. The aim is to build momentum, rebrand, have more women on board, young people, and also PWDs, and also building a critical mass of leaders.
Hassan Kaps Fungaro, the Secretary for Mobilization and Organization at the party, says equipping leaders with comprehensive knowledge and skills will enable the leaders to understand and better prepare to address the challenges and the demands of their roles.
We are here for a pilot project of training. We live in a rapidly changing world where there are issues of geopolitics and security, where we have new issues emerging. For example, emerging technologies. The information and communication technology is changing rapidly, and it is applied in various areas, including in the rigging of elections. So if we want to fight against the multi-practices, we must learn. FDC must be a learning organization. There must be learning at the workplace. So today, we are here in the process of preparing for the National Delegates Conference of the FDC as provided for in the laws of Uganda and in the constitution of the FDC. So the process requires preparation of people who will go to the grassroots, elect people, supervise the electoral process in the formation of the structures from the village level coming to the parish, sub-county, etc. at the national level. So this training will serve many purposes. The immediate one is the preparation for the delegates conference.
He further emphasized on the impact of involving the youth in their leadership, as the party largely enjoys relative support of the young people. That gives them a reason to support the youth with the required skills of leadership.
The youth are many and they are dynamic, they are energetic, they have energy. You see, when you are going to do something, you need the will to do it. You also need the energy to do it, but also you need knowledge to do it. You need the skills to do it. Now, to have youth who have the energy without knowledge, then there is likely to be a problem. So that's why we want the youth of FDC, the youth of the opposition, who already have the energy to have knowledge and skills on how to use that energy and bring the change we want. That's why in this training here, the youth are put in the forefront of things. You can see the focus we have. We have different types of youth. Youth in school and youth out of schools. The youth in town and the youth in the rural areas. So we're going to approach all this because their needs are different. The situation in which they live has some kind of differences derived from the environmental conditions in which they live. So we are going to deal with all these situations. The youth and the women are going to be provided special attention in this training program.
Betty Awol Ochan, the FDC Secretary for Education and woman member of Parliament for Gulu City, who passed out the trainers on behalf of the party president, Engineer Patrick Oboy Amuriat, says the FDC Leadership Academy answers leadership gaps and challenges in the party, and engaging the youth, women, persons with disabilities participation in leadership and governance is one other milestone.
This is also about to go in for the grassroots election. If this training could be rolled out to all the sub-regions as quickly as possible, I think the election will go on well. But sometimes without proper leadership on the ground, sometimes we get some challenges, weaknesses. So this training will reduce a lot on weaknesses that we should have on the ground. Leadership is sometimes a challenge, and leadership can be built, and this is building up leadership. And I want to tell you, in Uganda, when we decide to turn our face away from the young people, we are wasting time. They are the biggest population. If you put a population of Uganda, they may constitute up to about three quarters. The 1 quarter left is for our category. So it is important to build them up. They will be our successors. And some of them are going to be also leaders together with us. So when we have young people, we know sustainability is theirs. Young people who are leaders, who are strong, who are brave, who have good characters. For leadership, we need really people of good characters. So this is what we are doing.
The training provided leaders with a diverse range of knowledge and skills, including party history and political ideology, communication and public speaking, policy research and analysis, women and youth participation, the intersection of money and politics, campaign strategy, strategic planning and conflict resolution and management. Emmanuel Agele, Westnile TV Nilecast.
All right, a very good one right there from the Forum for Democratic Change, and thank you very much, Emmanuel Agrelle, for that report. And issues to do with the geopolitics of the region, it is very important that the leaders should be able to understand this, and so you cannot be a leader without understanding the geopolitical, landscape that we do have in the region, in Africa, and also in the world. And so if you're a leader and you don't understand the geopolitics, then that's a very big setback for you right there that you need to understand. Currently, what is the East African region focusing on, and you have to do the war in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, and also war in Somalia, and also the geopolitics between that is Rwanda and also Democratic Republic of Congo. The issues to do with the contribution towards the regional force is also some of the issues that as a leader you should be able to understand. And so I think FDC is on a good cause of really training these leaders to understand the geopolitics and also the changing world currently we are living living in, and you have to know that the issues to do with technology is really very vital. And how do you use the technology to achieve your agenda as a political party is also a very good one right there in regards to training of the leaders. Building up the capacities of these leaders is a very good one. I believe that other political parties that we have in this country, Uganda, will also be able to adopt this. It is important that the capacity of these leaders need to be built so that they get to understand the geopolitics and also the change in technology that we are embracing currently. So if you still have leaders who are so traditional, they really become a problem in a society. It is important that the leaders should be able to understand how things are really changing, and that should be the way to go with the politics that we have in this country, Uganda. And we cannot run away from politics, and I always say that politics will continue to exist even after Denis Oringi and after other people. We shall continue to have politics because we found politics. And so it is important that we should always be trained on how we should really coexist, you know, among ourselves, much as we belong to different political parties. And so that's something that I felt it is important that I should be able to emphasize right there. And so away from that, let's get to Maracha district, where youth, women and teenage mothers.
Women and teenage mothers in Maracha district have received liquid soap training and opportunity
from Acero Foundation, a non-governmental organization to uplift the livelihood of the youth, women and the teenage mothers in the district. Let's have more on that report.
Youths, women and teenage mothers in Maracha district have received liquid soap training and opportunity from Acero Foundation, a non-governmental organization to lift up the livelihood of women, youths and teenage mothers in the district. Trainee Drisilu Emanuela thanked Acero Foundation for giving them such opportunities of skilling and added that the basics of the training will help her in generating income in the future.
This program is good. Like, it is going to give me feedback. Like, I can help myself choose to do with marriage. Yeah, if you're a lady who marries a man, you can't just sit at home and wait everything from a man. You have to also help yourself. You can't ask a man, you give me salt. This one can help yourself. Like, you can prepare it and sell it. You can buy something which is not at home.
Jimmy Joel, a beneficiary of the training, stated that Acero Foundation has come as a pillar to organize the youths in terms of income generating activities through skilling and giving them materials to start up the work, and appeal to the foundation to embark on a championing health awareness campaign in homes and health centers to sensitize people about hygiene.
So this Acero Foundation has come to our area to help with the youth. So we can benefit. Like today they have come and they have brought for us the practice of making soap. So we can organize ourselves as we youth, and we get our company like here, then they help us in our marketing, and so we can produce income from it. So, you know, in Uganda with the youth, like in areas like this, you know, there's early marriage, everything. So you can say us here, you know, we are getting married in let me say, in a year that when we're still young, because our areas are a bit in a remote area. So this Acero Foundation is helping us to practice these trainings so that we can get something very little for we can benefit from it.
Kuvule Francis, the vice chairperson of Acero Foundation, highlighted that what the foundation intends to create through enabling an environment for youths and women by empowering them with skills, trainings, and also mindset change.
I'm very pleased to inform you that we have a program called Miripa, and the Miripa project, which is going to run for about 30 months. And this initiative comes from one of our sisters and daughters who lives in Canada, and that is called Acero Sara. She's a daughter to Maracha, to a person in Maracha, and I know that she's in Canada for study. So she intends to create an enabling environment to see to it that we are able to empower the young adolescents, the youth, and the disadvantaged population. So it is an idea that came out from her after seeing a number of teenage children, the teenage mothers, the youth being not being productive, and many of them get into marriage when they are still early. So our vision here is to create an empowerment to the youth. And of course, our target is not only the women, we're also looking out to the young boys, and also to do an issue to with the mindset change, so that we can be able to change the mind of the population. So we intend to achieve this in all the parts of Maracha district, in the 8 traditional sub-counties, including the town council. So today we're in all over sub-county, because we want to start it from here, so that we are able to maybe learn 1 or 2 lessons out of this training, which will now be able to help in other sub-counties.
Asera Foundation, whose first activity was conducted on Monday, the 12th of June 2023, has offered a training for youths, women and teenage mothers in the Greater Oluvu sub-county on how to make liquid soaps for both commercial and domestic use. Osuta Yusuf and Okumuringa for Westnile Television, Nilecast.
All right, thank you very much, Christine Okumuringa, for that report. And I believe that the young people and also the women who have been trained on how to make liquid soap, they will be able to really implement the knowledge that they were able to get from this non-governmental organization. It's a good one that the young people and some women are being taken through skills training, and that is the way to go. And so you cannot just brag that you have attained your degree maybe in social works and development, and then you think that you can really make life in this world. It is now a different business that we are really having in this world. And so if you don't have any skills of doing something, it becomes very hard for you even to be employed, by the way, for your information. And so God has gifted us differently. You might have really pursued that course that you have graduated with because of friends' influence. You never wanted to really take on that particular course, but because your friend was also going to do the same course, and then you found yourself doing the same course with your friend, and then after graduating you have nothing to do. It is hard for you to make killings in this world. So what are you supposed to do? Get to any skilling opportunities that you really be able to have. And so tap on that and you see how you can really progress with life. It is important that you have to be self-independent. Sometimes it is good that if you're self-independent, you know at what time should I really open my shop and at what time should I really close my shop. And so you really become a boss yourself. And so it is you to run your business, not somebody else to run your business, and you know how much you're making out of the business that you're running. And so I believe that the knowledge of liquid soap making that has been imparted in the minds of these young people and also the women, they will be able to make good use of the knowledge. And I know in most cases after attaining such training like that, somebody begins to say that I don't have capital to start up this kind of business. So how can I really start if I don't have money? Please start with the little that you have. I know of a gentleman that is in Kuching sub-county who started with only 15,000. So he became a good friend to the person who sells the chemical for making the liquid soap. And so whenever he goes, he can be given these chemicals on credit, and he goes and make the liquid soap. After selling, he takes the money that he really owed the person, and then next time again he goes and get more chemicals to make liquid soap, and he's really doing well. And so those are some of the successful stories that we do have, and you too, you can also really adopt such the conversation with the person selling the chemicals to see that you really succeed in the business of liquid soap that you're making, plus other skills that you have really attained. And so capital is a very, very big a factor when we talk about a business. And so if you don't have startup capital, it becomes very hard for you to start up a business. And so for those who are lacking capital this morning, let me tell you this, that just become a friend to the person that you want that particular equipment or chemical for doing what you want to do, then you will really flourish in that business that you want to do. And so let's get away from Marash and go to Pakwach district, where the farmer groups in Pakwach district have failed to adequately supply the 3 cassava processing plants constructed by Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries under the Agriculture Cluster Development Program, ACDP, due to low production rate and other attributed challenges right there. And so these are facilities that are able to process 2 tons of raw sweet cassava in an hour. Each include Pokwero Cooperative Farmers Group Value Addition Factory in Pokwero Sub-County, Abongo Women Group Cooperative in Alwe Sub-County, and Pamito Cooperative Farmers Group in Panyango Sub-County, which were constructed on farmers' demand to increase value for the cassava largely produced in the area, as well as improve household income. Omito Steen, the district chairman, says mindset change is much needed at this critical time if government's interest of local economic development is to be achieved. Let's take a look.
These 3 factories were established amounting to about 600 million each. And the background upon which they were established, 1, it was the demand of the various farmer groups. 2, it was necessitated also by the fact that these cooperatives earlier were in existence, and on top of existence they were already, like when you look at the case of Abongo, they had very vast land and they were producing all these 3 areas which have been picked and supported under this project of ACTP. You realize that the farmer groups were having large chunks of field and they were already dealing in cassava in large quantities. So we thought it would be eminent to ensure they are supported so that they join the value chain to boost the cooperative. And that was the background. But on the way, as this project came to its final stage of achieving the establishment of the processing plants, we also realized that the weather vagaries was also trying to hit hard in a manner that the production of cassava also reduced somehow because of the weather changes. But again, the demand for cassava also in the region became very high. The other side, the machine only processes sweet cassava. So we are yet making a paradigm shift to change the attitudes of our people on shifting from bitter cassava to sweet cassava that they don't believe in. Earlier they didn't believe in. And white breakfast, it cannot make the actual meal, those kind of funny beliefs. But people are picking up. I am very optimistic. With the time, these machines are not going to be idle. But again, for the factory to be very viable, operational, without any providing tractors to these cooperatives. Because without tractors, the hand hoe alone, people cannot open enough, they cannot dig enough field that can plant enough cassava, that can sufficiently feed these machines to be operational on daily basis. That is a bare fact. So we realize also the capacity of the farmers is really wanting and lacking. They have the land. Running this kind of machine on generator fuel is a very costly event. So they are also facing that challenge, and all these points where the machines are, there is no electricity. So that is yet another area that is actually making the machine to be somehow idle. So they
All right, we are talking about issues to do with the Agriculture Cluster Development Program. I think out of the programs, the projects, that are being implemented under Agriculture Cluster Development Program in Westnile, I know of one cassava processing plant that is Aratarash in Kuchuni Sub-County that is doing well. And as I talk right now, that place has become a place for people to go and learn some issues to do with cassava processing right there in Kuching sub-county. And so I think the group members of Pokwero Cooperative Farmers Group Value Addition Factory in Pokwero, Bongo Women Group Cooperative in Alway Sub-County, and Pamitu Cooperative Farmers Group in Panyango, they need to really go to Aratarash, that is in Kuching Sub-County, to learn something from there, because Aratarash is also one of the farmer groups, that is implementing this agriculture cluster development program, the ACDP program right there. And so I think there are good things that are coming out from there. For those who do not know, currently they are now into the value addition. If you go to any market that we have in West Nile and try to ask for the products from Aratarash, you will be able to get those products coming from Aratarash as a result of the agriculture cluster development program that government of the Republic of Uganda through the Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries are implemented right there for the people of Kuching sub-county through the Aratarash Farmers Cooperative right there. And so I believe that the challenges that have been highlighted by the LC5 chairperson of Pakwash District, Obito Robert Steen, these challenges can be worked upon. And I love his honesty in this. He says that the issues to do with the mindset change is much needed at this critical time if government's interest of local economic development is to be achieved. Yeah. Currently, we need to look at the aspect of the mindset change. Remember, under the parish development model, pillar number 5, pillar number 6, talks about mindset change, and this is supposed to be implemented by Ministry of ICT. And I do not know what has really happened to that pillar of mindset change, up to this particular time. That we are supposed to see people's mindset being changed, but this is not being done extensively, like the pillar of the financial inclusion, where we see government of the Republic of Uganda is really sending 100 million to each parish that we do have in this country, Uganda. And so the aspect of mindset change is really very paramount. And I believe that under the parish development model, the pillar of mindset change will be taken on seriously by the government of the Republic of Uganda as we look forward to implementation of the budget for the financial year 2023-2024 right there. Let's get to that is sport news. A quick one right here from West Nile. You have to know that the annual West Nile Golf Open will officially kick-start today, Friday, at the West Nile Golf Facility in Arua City. And so the championship that will end on Saturday, tomorrow, June 17th, 2023, will be played under the medal mode of play game, and it has attracted golfers from different parts of this country, with the DFCU, Stanbic Bank, Hotel Confidential, MTN Business, and Bar Aviation coming on board as sponsors right there. Let's have more on this.
The West Nile Open is our flagship event in this club. It is our biggest event of the year on our events calendar. It is the opportunity we get as members of West Nile Golf Club to interact not only with our partners but with our colleagues from other golf clubs. And so we're excited that we have reached this level, and it is going to happen. On Saturday we shall have an award ceremony after the tournament, a business networking opportunity. As you know, golf and business run together. This golf course, the West Nile Golf Course, you can see it is the only surviving green space in this city, in Arua City. And we put in a lot of effort to maintain this golf course the way it is. And so we're encouraging members of the public to join us, to encourage our partners to support us, so that we maintain this. The benefits of a green place to a population in a city is remarkable. Please, members of the public, come watch the game of golf from tomorrow, Saturday. It's going to be very exciting, very competitive. We have exciting, with the help of our sponsors, we have arranged very exciting prizes for the golfers. There are going to be many golfers from all corners of this country. Please come and join us, watch the event, and take interest in the game of golf.
Golf has quite a number of categories. In a year, and in this club, we have an exclusive event for ladies, in which men participate as a subsidiary. And for the West Nile Open, it is a it's a main event for the men. Men who are professionals, men who are in the gross category, men who are in the amateur net. And still, ladies come in as subsidiary. That is the beauty of golf. It accommodates almost all age groups. Even in an open like this, we have the juniors from age 5 up to 18. We have now the men category. Senior, we also have seniors that are catered by the from age 55 up to 100. Up to 100. Up to when you die, actually. And if you die and you still come back and say you want to play, golf accommodates you. It's one sport that has no limitation, it's one sport that has no expiry. Right?
As per aviation, as I said, we are really privileged to be part of the sponsors. We are honored, we are indeed very happy. From Westnile, I think it's the first time we are sponsoring Westnile Golf Club. But as I said, this will not be the last. I think we are going to continue. I'm sure even the president said towards the end of the year, there will be a tournament. We shall definitely be part of that. As the bank, we of course come in to add in or bring in solutions that can make this tournament very, very easy to access or easy to use. We'll be providing services not only at discounts but at zero rates. That is, if you choose to use FlexPay to do your transactions. So those who are not on FlexPay, we encourage them to come with their national IDs for registration. We'll be having a team here that will fully be interacting with the golfers and also the fans to see that this tournament goes on well.
This year we might come in a little bit slower or smaller, but we promise next year or even years to come, Westnile will be at the forefront of golf in Uganda. And we always here. Where are you going to find a function that is going to pull people from Kasese, from Toronto, and then they come into one place? So you have a chance of networking with all these people from wherever they are, in one place. So MTN would want to be there.
And as a Hotel Confidential, we host all the players which coming all through the country, 165 players, and these players. First of all, I don't see this as a business. We have a lot of things to do in a business, but this is the first time we are coming as an association with golf club. I see golf is also one of the game, and you see the club which is coming, almost 13 clubs and 165 players, which means they have put a lot of effort to transform the Westnile. So when the Westnile comes, and obviously one of the best hotel in Westnile, Hotel Confidential, it's not just to get the business, to support them. So I see this as rightly Dennis said, networking and to transform the Westnile. When somebody is giving a hand to transform the Westnile, obviously Hotel Confidential will be there.
And I want to assure you engagements already going on with top management here for a longer term deal that we can do together in this business to reinstate it further. He did mention things like the signages and what. I wouldn't want to go into that again. Just take it from me that it's a long-term relationship and a lot more is on the way coming. Let's continue with the partnership. Let's keep the engagements going on. Why not a golfer? Yes. In particular, effective today, I'm going to be a golfer.
All right, thank you very much, dear viewer, for being with us. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we still have more for you this morning. I will be diving into what we have in the financial year 2023-2024 budget right here, and I will be breaking it down for you. And I know the budget speech of the Minister of Finance, Honorable Matia Kasaija, was a little bit very complex, and if you have not done economics, you will not understand. And so I will try my level best to break it down for you to get to understand the budget for the financial year 2023-2024. That will be after the break. My name is Denis Oringi, and you can as well follow me on my Twitter handle with more updates and conversations that we can really have. Not forgetting the social media platforms of Westnile Television, the Twitter handle Westnile Television, YouTube Westnile Television, and also Facebook Westnile Television. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we still have more for you right this morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Alright, we'll be back. You have to know over 7 minutes past over 8 am right on Westnile Television. We do appreciate you very much for joining us. For those who have just tuned in, we thank you. My name is Denis Oringi, and it is the Friday edition of the program, the KOKOLIRIKO Live on Westnile Television. We are coming to you live from the broadcast house of the television right here on plot 39A, Weather 8 Park Lane, just in Anyafio, next to the Presidential State Lodge, for those who do not know where we are located. And that is the simple direction that I can really give for you. You can as well use the Google map to locate us, because it is very easy for you just to get us right here. For those who want to do business with us, you can just use the contacts that are really scrolling on your screen, and then we shall see how we can really have the conversation. Yesterday, the citizens of the Republic of Uganda were able to listen to the budget speech that was presented by the Minister of Finance, Matia Kasaija, and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni attended and addressed the parliament from his state lodge Nakasero, because he's still COVID positive, and so he could not really join the members of parliament and other dignitaries who were invited to attend the budget speech and budget reading right there. And so allow me to say this, that parliament yesterday passed and also read the budget for the financial year 2023-2024. Parliament itself passed the budget on 18th May 2023. That's when they were able to approve as well. And so from the budget speech, a summary of what the Minister of Finance, Matia Kasaija, read out yesterday. He says that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, declared that his 2021-2026 term as a Kisanja. And can you remember the common phrase that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni used to use? And he used to say that Kisanja akuna mchezo, and that is the phrase that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is really driving this country in this term of his office 2021-2026. And so his term, he has declared it as a Kisanja for social economic transformation, meaning work for social economic transformation. While opening the 11th Parliament on 24th May 2021, I can remember vividly, he said, now that we have laid the foundation by building roads, hospitals, schools, water sources, and other public services, the focus should be turned to creating wealth, jobs, and incomes. And so that is what President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is hankering his leadership on. for this term in office 2021-2026. And so this addresses the 39% of Ugandans that are still in the non-money economy. Remember, under PDM, the 39% households that are not yet in money economy, they are still in the subsistence economy. And President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is saying, we want these 39% households to be in the money economy. And that's why the NRM government brought in the element of the parish development model. And so the NRM government has laid a strong foundation to accelerate the social economic transformation for all Ugandans. The budget for the next financial year, 2023-2024, therefore has been prepared to advance this strategic mission. Consequently, the theme of the budget has been retained as full monetization of Uganda's economy through commercial agriculture, industrialization, expanding and broadening services, digital transformation, and market access. And so this is the theme for the financial year 2023-2024 budget. I repeat, full monetization of Uganda's economy through commercial agriculture, industrialization, expanding and broadening services, digital transformation, and market access. Now, let's look at the resource envelope for financial year 2023-2024. And I know Ugandans are interested to know where is the government going to get the money from, and how much will government of the Republic of Uganda be able to get for the financial year 2024. The resource envelope for financial year 2023-2024 amounts to, that is 52.7 trillion. If you have a pen and paper, you can be writing this. 52.7 trillion has been budgeted for the financial year 2023-2024, and the financial year 2023-2024 will start on 1st July this year. And so by 30th of this month, we shall be done with the financial year 2022-2023, and 1st July we shall start the financial year 2023-2024. And so let's look at the domestic revenue. So government of the Republic of Uganda is looking at realizing 29.7 trillion from the domestic revenues, of which 27.4 trillion will be tax revenue, meaning that me and you, we shall be able to pay 27.4 trillion as taxes to the government of the Republic of Uganda. And then 2.3 trillion will be non-tax revenue. And so much of the money, much of the domestic revenues will come from you and I. You understand? And so if you're a worker and you are being deducted, and that is the tax that you're contributing towards, realizing the domestic revenue that government of the Republic of Uganda is looking at. And those who are paying pay as you earn, you have to know that you're contributing to these domestic revenues. And even when you are buying certain things in this country, you are paying local revenue. There are others that are called non-tax revenue, and you have to pay that one. Now, domestic borrowing amounts to 3.2 trillion. That means that within this country, Uganda, government is looking at borrowing that is a 3.2 trillion within, from some people who have money, from some commercial banks that we do have in this country, also money lenders. Remember before 18th of May, Parliament passing this budget, the Minister of Finance presented some loan that is supposed to be borrowed from some money lenders that is in Kenya and in USA. And so that means that domestically government is looking at borrowing 3.2 trillion to finance the budget of 52.7 trillion right there. And talking about budget support accounts is 2.8 trillion that government is looking at securing this money as budget support accounts that is 2.8 trillion right there. Then let's talk about external financing for projects amounts to, that is 8.3 trillion, of which 3.01 trillion is from grants and 5.3 trillion is from loans. That means that government has put it in mind that in the financial year 2023-2024, they will be able to borrow a loan that will amount to 5.3 trillion. And then they're looking at getting some donation. 3 trillion. This is what you need to know. That government of the Republic of Uganda will spend 7.3 trillion in paying those who are working with the government ministries, departments, agencies, and local governments that we have in this country. 7.3 trillion will go for paying salaries only. That is what you need to know. Wages and salaries will amount to 7.3 trillion. And non-wage recurrent expenditure will amount to 13.5 trillion. This 13.5 trillion will be money that will be used for development programs and projects that government intends to roll out in the financial year 2023-2024. 13.5 trillion will be meant for service delivery. Then let's go. Government of Uganda development expenditure amounts to 6.1 trillion only, and external project support financing is 8.3 trillion. Domestic arrears worth 215.8 billion will be settled. That means that out of the money that government of the Republic of Uganda borrowed domestically, it will pay 215.8 billion. This 215.8 billion will just be for paying the loan that government borrowed domestically. Appropriation in aid of shillings, that is 287 billion have been provided for external debt. And so 287 billion will be used for paying money that government of the Republic of Uganda borrowed from outside. And so we are paying loans, my dear. And so that means that the taxes that we are paying is just for paying loans. And so if 287 billion is meant for paying loans, and you understand what 287 billion means here. And then also 215 billion. So if you add, you will find out that that is 500 billion will just go for paying the domestic arrears. These are expenditures that government incurred. It's like, somebody has provided for you services and you have not paid the person. And so the 215 billion will be used for settling the cost that government has incurred because somebody provided services that government failed to clear. And so that is what you need to know. And then domestic debt financing amount to 8.4 trillion. When we talk about loan that government borrowed domestically, I have to tell you that 8.4 trillion out of 52.7 trillion will be used for paying the loan domestically here. And then how much do you know that government has put aside for the financial year, in the financial year 2023-2024 for paying the money that government borrowed from outside? Government has put aside 17 trillion for paying loans borrowed from outside. And so if you subtract, if you add, that is 8.4 trillion plus 17 trillion, how much are we going to have there? And so when you put 4 here, and then you put 8, then you will have around 25 trillion out of 52.7 trillion is going for paying loan in the financial year 2023-2024. And that means that you and I, we are going to pay this loan out of the taxes that government levy on us. And even the loan will be paid by our grandchildren, for your information, if you do not know. And so, because over 40 trillion that government has borrowed and is supposed to be paid back. And so government has put aside 17 trillion for paying debt, external debt. And then domestic debt financing is at 8.4 trillion. And this money is just going to those that helped government with the money. So meaning that as a country we cannot survive without loans. And this tells you that Uganda will continue to borrow loan. Is what you have to know for it to finance its budget. So without borrowing loan, government cannot really run the country because the money is not there. Because according to what they have planned to get if you are to look at from the domestic revenue, they have only planned to get 29.7 trillion out of 52.7 trillion. And that means that over 30 trillion is supposed to be, outsourced to finance the recurrent, expenditure that government is supposed to incur, and for paying wages and salaries. And so that is something that you need to know right there. And out of this 52.7 trillion, dear viewer, you have to know that it is only going to be 4 trillion that will be used for service delivery. Service delivery in terms of projects and programs that government intends to roll out. And among the programs or the projects that government intends to roll out, remember, financing the parish development model. Currently, as we do talk, we have only around 50 million that has been disbursed to different parishes that we have in this country. Remember, government of the Republic of Uganda committed itself to see that all parishes in the financial year 2022-2023 receives 100 million, and that means that the parishes we have in this country are demanding 50 million from the government of the Republic of Uganda, plus the parishes that have not yet received the money. I know of those parishes. In Marasha, we have around 5 parishes that never received the money that was released recently, the 25 million. And remember, the financial year has come to a close, and currently government cannot commit itself in releasing any amount of money to any ministry, department or agency or local government, simply because we are now approaching the end of the financial year 2022-2023. That will end on 30th of June. And so that means that currently, as I talk, I think Minister of Finance has now put a very heavy stone on the accounts of the ministries, departments and agencies and local governments that we do have. And very soon you're going to see the efforts and the morale of the government workers in these ministries, departments and agencies and local governments in this country going down, because there will be no money, and the account has been frozen as I talk right now, because they will not be able now to withdraw, because currently government cannot send any amount of money to any district for any development program, simply because the district cannot now spend the money within the 1 or 2 weeks that that is remaining to make to reach 30th of June. And so government is now trying to see how much have we collected to the consolidated funds out of the unused amount of money. And according to one of the economists, when I asked him what does it mean if a district fails to utilize the resource envelope that has been allocated to it, he says that the problem is with the leaders in that district. That means that their incompetence if they're not able to expand the money that has been allocated to them, because the budget is supposed to finance service delivery. And so if the money is swept back to the consolidated fund, that means that the district is incompetent. The district leaders are incompetent and they cannot really properly utilize the resource envelope. And this affects in the next financial year. That means that if the government realizes that this district has not really utilized all its resource envelope, that means that the district has, low capacity of really getting more money, and this affects the budgeting and also release of finance to that particular district that does not want to utilize the resource envelope that has been allocated to it. And so that is a brief that I wanted to give you in regards to the budget that was read yesterday. And if you want the breakdown of the budget, you can go to Parliament portal and also Minister of Finance portal, and you'll be able to understand how much your district has been able to budget, how much has the district been able to budget for health, for education. Those breakdowns are there at Ministry of Finance portal, and you'll be able to understand this extensively. As you understand budget, also get to understand the Auditor General's report, because the Office of the Auditor General's report, the Office of the Auditor General does what we call the accountability of this budget that government passes and implement each and every financial year. And so for the financial year 2022-2023, the Auditor General's report will be ready by 30th of December this year, and you'll be able to understand how these ministries, departments and agencies of government and local governments that we do have in this country were able to utilize the budget for the financial year 2022-2023, and that is what you need to know, and you will be able to understand that this country has a lot of money. Unfortunately, a lot of money that we are talking about goes to some few people, and that is what you will be able to realize, and that is what I have realized after perusing through the Auditor General's report. And those are the issues that we have in the Auditor General's report. And Auditor General's report is final report, and it is a report that is being used by Parliament, Public Accounts Committee, Central Government, and Parliament Public Account Committee, Local Government. Very soon you will be seeing the members of the Public Accounts Committee, Local Government moving to different districts that we do have in this region, West Nile, and also other regions that we do have in this country, trying to ask the accountability questions that have been raised by the Office of the Auditor General. And some of the accounts terms that are used there, it is unqualified and qualified opinion. And so if you have done accounts, you should be able to understand what qualified opinion means and what unqualified opinion means. I don't want to get there because I have to go for a break, and when I come back I will be diving into some of the top stories that we have in the dailies this morning. And thank you very much for joining us, and allow me to say let's take a break, and when we come back we still have more for you right here on Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, we'll be back here still watching Westnile Television. Let's get to some of the stories that are making headlines right here in the Daily Monitor before I get into the new vision here. After all that, a man wanted for hacking wife, daughter to death. It's quite unfortunate right there that there's a man who hacked the wife and the daughter to death. And so that is something that you need to know. Trade portal to bridge information gap among exporters. And for those who are dealing in exportation, you have to know that the trade portal has been opened for you, and this is going to bridge information gap among you who are the exporters that we have in this country, Uganda. Also, another thing that you need to know, that Rakai Deputy Resident District Commissioner ordered to vacate office over misconduct is also another story that you have to know right there. And then Lira medical student murdered from hostel is also another sad story that has featured in the Daily Monitor this morning. And don't forget that Luero Reverend acquitted after battling 6 years defilement case is also another story that has featured in the Daily Monitor. And then why the dividing Mbarara has crippled services, I think you can read more because I have been told that Mbarara has been divided, and because of the division that has been created, this is really crippling service delivery right outside of Mbarara. And then Uganda Airlines to fly that is 500 Muslim pilgrims to Mecca is also another good story that we have in the Daily Monitor. And then driver filmed attempting to knock traffic officer remanded is also another story. There's a video that is circulating on social media of a driver of a vehicle who tried knocking the traffic police officer. Little did he know that his number plate can really tell exactly where he is, and so they track him using the number plate of the vehicle. And so yesterday Friday he was arrested and taken to court, and he has been remanded, is what you need to know. Then Uganda's economy has remained resilient. That's according to Matia Kasaija, who is the Minister of Finance here in our country, Uganda. And then also what you have to know, that Kadaga tasked Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, member states to check triggers of forced migrations is also another issue. I think it's a very good one. We need to understand what is triggering that is the forced migrations that we are seeing. We have a number of people who are really crisscrossing from one country to the other, and so we need to get to understand why exactly that these people are really migrating from one country to the other. And so the Intergovernmental Authority on Development member states should really look into this. This is according to Kadaga, who is the Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, in charge of the East African Community Affairs. And so I believe that they will be able to have a deliberation that will be able to really inform decision and actions to end these illegal migrations that we are really seeing. No purchase of new vehicles for political leaders or public servants is what the government is saying in the financial year 2023-2024, meaning that they will not be able to purchase new vehicles for political leaders. And we are waiting to see whether this will really be implemented as it has been spoken, because this is not the first time that we hear government saying that they are not going to purchase vehicle for politicians and public servants right there. And so the ministry said government has spent 661 billion on domestic arrears during the financial year 2022 and 2023 financial year ending June 30th, as it projects to collect 29.7 trillion domestic revenues in financial year 2023-2024. And so in order to live within Uganda's means, government has said its plan to reduce consumptive expenditure in the next financial year. This will be no purchase of new vehicles for political leaders and public officers, except for hospital, ambulances, medical supplies or distribution, agricultural extension services, security and revenue mobilization. Government said as it seeks to ensure a 6% economic growth as projected by its experts, is what you need to know right there. And so travel abroad has also been restricted to statutory functions and for critical legal and resource mobilization functions. We will also regulate expenses on workshops and seminars. That's according to Minister of Finance Matia Kasaija, who said yesterday as he presented his budget speech during a parliament sitting at Kololo ceremonial grounds in Kampala. And so the minister said government had spent 661 billion on domestic arrears during the 2022-2023 financial year ending June 30th, as it projects to collect 29.7 trillion domestic revenues in the financial year 2023-2024. And so 27.4 trillion will be tax revenue and 2.3 billion will be non-tax revenue. This represents a revenue effort of 14.3% of gross domestic product. And government is committed to paying verified suppliers, court awards and compensation for ranches next financial year. And 200 billion has been allocated to settle domestic arrears. To improve absorption and utilization of external loans and grants, government will be asking accounting officers of ministries, departments and agencies to provide quarterly physical performance brief to Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and Office of the Prime Minister on performance of externally financed projects under their jurisdiction. And currently we have a number of externally financed projects that are being undertaken through the Office of the Prime Minister. And so these reports should be submitted to the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and quoting him saying that government will also be ensuring project selection, design, approval and analysis is undertaken before the project is approved for funding, and providing a dedicated fund for land acquisition and right-of-way instead of earmarking funds for particular projects to address delays in compensation, commencing project implementation only on sites where there are no right-of-way and other physical encumbrances, requiring all environmental and social safeguards to be enforced by Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development and the National Environmental Management Authority during project design is a very key one. And this reminds me of what exactly happened recently when a team from World Bank came to inspect the ongoing constructions of the two bridges on River Enyao, Bridge 1 and Bridge 2 here in Arua City and also in Arua District. What was found out was that the construction of the bridges commenced without the environmental environmental impact assessment report that was supposed to be availed by the National Environment and Management Authority, NEMA, and so these the officers are promised to work on that, and so that is something that you need to know. So it is very important that before a project is undertaken, those social issues are really properly handled. The issues to do with compensation, because if you want to put up a project on my piece of land, there should be that aspect of compensation. And so Matia Kasaija is saying that the aspect of compensation is very key when they are really developing a project that is supposed to be externally financed. And so that is the conversation that we should see the people in government discussing and having a comprehensive discussion about that. And so the minister further said the ruling National Resistance Movement, which has been in power for the last 37 years under the stewardship of President Museveni, will enhance dialogue with development partners to ensure smooth implementation of externally funded projects, in addition to placing all project coordinators on performance-based contracts to improve accountability for project performance under the domestic revenue mobilization strategy. The objective is to improve revenue collection to between 16 and 18% of gross domestic products over the next 5 years, about 13.5% of gross domestic products. Currently, next financial year, priority has been placed on improving tax administration, including use of ICT to fight tax evasion and rationalizing tax exemptions to improve their effectiveness and reduce revenue leakage, according to Kasaija right there. So according to government, the new budget is dedicated to 39% of Ugandans who are currently not in the money economy. And so to those individuals and households whose income per year is below 20 million, they have now the opportunity to utilize the support of the NRM government development. NRM government has provided under the parish development model, Emyoga and other government initiatives. These were words of Matia Kasaija when he was reading the budget yesterday right there for you. And so that is what you need to know. Brief about the budget. And so you have also to know here that evolution of Uganda's public debt revenue over last 10 years. Let's dive into that. And so I give you a brief one that you need to know, that government borrowing to finance public investments is an essential part of any country's macroeconomic toolkit, and Uganda is not any different. And so the government has been borrowing both externally and domestically to meet public expenditure, both development and recurring. So today, yesterday, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija presented 52 trillion budget for the fiscal year 2023-2024, and in this we have to track for you the rise in Uganda's public debt over the last 10 years. And so the total debt was 13.5 trillion in June 2022, that is 19.2 of the gross domestic products, and gradually rose to over, that is 80 trillion at the end of the financial year 2021-2022, 49.1% of the gross domestic products right there. So the executive director of research at Bank of Uganda, Dr. Adam Mugume, said that the need for resources to finance public expenditure in critical sectors of the economy forces the government to borrow to close the fiscal deficit gap. He estimated the public debt to rise to about 90 trillion by the end of the financial year 2022-2023. And so although the public debt has been rising, it has not been in a tandem with the rise in the revenue collection over the last 10 years. And so Dr. Mugume said tax revenue rose from 6.5 trillion in financial year 2011 and 2012, about 9.3% of gross domestic products. Now to shillings at 20.4 trillion financial year 2021-2022, about 12.5% of gross domestic products, and is estimated to rise about 23.5 trillion in the financial year 2022-2023. Explain the reason why public debt and domestic revenue collection have behaved that way. He said it is largely because tax revenues have been insufficient to finance government expenditure. Ideally, to finance activities that spur economic development, government incur debt. And so even if the state lives forever, that can't be accumulated forever, which means that government expenditure supported by borrowing should be able to generate sufficient tax revenues to service the debt in addition to increasing national income. And so Dr. Mugume said that the rise in debt therefore isn't usually unusual. What should be a concern is if tax revenues as a share of gross domestic products remain static meaning that the country isn't collecting enough tax, either through revenue leakages or through tax exemptions. And so on the way forward, you have to know that Dr. Mugume said, indeed, the fiscal deficit of gross domestic products is projected to decrease from 7.4% in financial year 2021-2022 to 5.1% in the financial year 2022-2023, and will decline further to 3.5% in financial year 2023-2024. And so moreover, this is striking a right balance between providing near-term support to the economy and ensuring that remains on a sustainable path over the medium term right there. So he added that this will require compensating for any underperformance of tax revenues by curbing non-priority expenditures. And so what are the non-priority expenditures? And so I think some of the non-priority expenditures that government of the Republic of Uganda has been undertaking has been highlighted by the Minister of Finance. The issues to do with seminars, travel abroad, issues to do with buying cars for politicians and also civil servants that we do have in this country. And so those are some of the things that we can do with that. These politicians, they can use the salary that they are getting for buying vehicles for themselves, and also they can as well use some of the resources that they always get to finance themselves, not government of the Republic of Uganda always financing them. And so that's something that you need to know right there. Let's get to the new vision this morning, and we get to know what are some of the stories that we have in the new vision this morning before maybe I move into what is happening in the world of sports. And so for those who want to understand the budget fully, you can get the copy of today's Daily Monitor and the new vision. I think there are leaflets that have been and dedicated specifically for the budget, and you will be able to understand whether some of the civil servants will be able to get salary increase right there. And so that's what you need to know. St. Catherine wins Northern Region, that is a debate on environment is what you need to know. I think I brought to your attention the other time that there were schools that were selected to debate about the climate change. That was at Teso College Aliot, that is in Soroti. And so St. Catherine wins Northern Region climate change debate is what you need to know, that the girls dressed in the yellow uniform burst into ululation when Chief Adjudicator Frederick Musimeta of the Uganda Dialogue Arena announced that they had beaten, that is the lead contenders, Komboni College right there. Also another story from the new vision is that parish chiefs to get housing allowance, bikes to ease the parish development implementation. The excitement is right there for you. This can be seen vividly on the faces of the parish chiefs that we have in this country, Uganda. And so we are waiting to see, after getting the housing allowance, bikes to ease parish development implementation, I want to see how the implementation of the parish development model will really flourish right here in our country, Uganda. So the PDM Deputy National Coordinator Jovrin Kalisa says chiefs will each be given a housing allowance of shillings 100,000 next financial year, 2023-2024. A move that seeks to improve monitoring of government programs is what you need to know, that the government is going to facilitate parish chiefs and parish development model executive committees as one of the interventions aimed at strengthening parish development model program implementation, ensuring it succeeds. And so she added that the chiefs will also receive PDM bicycles, and so they will be given bicycles, not motorcycles. And so most of you don't stay in your parishes, but the government wants you to be readily available to the community, so you can easily monitor PDM and other programs, says Kalisa right there. So this was on Thursday during a meeting with the sub-county and parish chiefs, community development officers, PDM focal persons, Operation Wealth Creation Program officials, and Ibanda Municipality technical staff at the district offices right there. So according to the PDM Deputy National Coordinator, the government also plans to build parish offices and staff quarters for the chiefs in the future. And so she explained that the parish will be central in the implementation of government programs going forward, especially those under the PDM right there. Remember, there are 7 pillars that are supposed to be implemented under the parish development model. And so currently government is focusing on the pillar of the financial inclusion, that the 100 million should be in a parish in a financial year. And so if government is going to succeed in implementing the National Development Plan 3, and that means that currently how many years are we remaining with to end the National Development Plan 3? I think we are remaining with apparently 2 years, because 2023, 2024 financial year, then we shall have another financial year, 2024-2025, and then we shall have the last one, 2025-2026, and that will apparently we have 3 years remaining for the National Development Plan 3 to be concluded, and then after that we shall get to the National Development Plan 4. This will be determined by who will be, which government will be the next. And so if NRM government continues to stay in power even after 2026, then the National Development Plan 4 will also be introduced. We are still waiting, and that will be after 3 years to determine what will really happen to the national development plans that is being implemented by the NRM government right there. And so that's something that I felt it is important that I should be able to bring to your attention. I think it's good news for the pariships that we do have in this country, that the 100,000 housing allowance, this will really facilitate you in as far as monitoring government programs, more especially the programs that are going to be rolled out under the parish development model. And one of the pillars under the parish development model that is supposed to be rolled out is the financial inclusion. The giveaway of 100 million to the parishes is ongoing, and that's why we have people benefiting from the PDM money. And so that is one of the pillars of the 7 pillars under the PDM. And so what is happening to other pillars? I think the ministries that are in charge of the implementation of the remaining pillars should really up their games. We have the mindset change that is supposed to be implemented by Minister of Information and National Guidance, and so we are waiting to see what is going to happen in the financial year 2023-2024 right there for you. And so that is what I felt it is important that I should be able to bring to your attention in regards to the implementation of the government programs in our country, Uganda, right there for you. And so what other stories do you need from me this morning from the New Vision? I think we still have some stories that I can really bring to your attention this morning in regards to some of the issues that you need to know in our country, Uganda. You have to know that government to reduce court case backlog by 6,000 next financial year is what you need to know. And then in sport, you have to know Kiplimo in photo finish at the Oslo Diamond League is what you need to know. And then government unveils the 52 trillion 2023-2024 national budget is what you need to know. And so get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor or the New Vision, and you'll be able to understand the budget, as I did say. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, I will be diving into what we have in the world of sports this morning. My name is Denis Oringi, and this is KOKOLIRIKO live on Westnile Television. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on StarTimes this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with StarTimes. StarTimes is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on StarTimes this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with StarTimes. StarTimes is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
10 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let's dive into the world of sports this morning. You have to know that Manchester City to open Premier League title defense at company's Burnley is what you need to know right there. The Manchester City will kick off their bid for a record fourth straight Premier League title away to Burnley, managed by their former captain Vincent Kompany is what you need to know. The fixture list released on Thursday confirmed the treble winners will visit Turf Moor on August 11 to raise the curtain on the 2023-2024 campaign. It will be the second time Kompany, who won the title on 4 occasions as a City skipper, will have faced his old side as a manager, with the City winning 6-0 at the Etihad in the FA Cup quarter-finals in March. And so Pep Guardiola's side, who won the Premier League, Champions League and FA Cup in 2022-2023, are seeking to become the first English team to win 4 successive top-flight titles. They have dominated the Premier League in recent years, winning the title in 5 of the past 6 seasons. So Premier League debutants Luton will play their first top-flight fixtures since 1992 away to Roberto De Zerbi's Brighton the following day. And so other promoter side the Sheffield United kick off with the Hope game against Crystal Palace. The most eye-catching fixture of the opening weekend will be at Stamford Bridge, where Mauricio Pochettino begins life as Chelsea manager against Liverpool, with the both sides looking to bounce back after disappointing campaigns. Arsenal, who finished second in the Premier League, open at home to Nottingham Forest, while fellow that is Champions League qualifiers Newcastle host Aston Villa, and Manchester United begins against Wolves at Old Trafford. Ange Postecoglou's first game in charge of Tottenham will be away to Brentford, and so Bournemouth host Europa Conference League winners West Ham, and Everton, looking to avoid a third straight relegation scrap, begin at home to Fulham. City, who finished 5 points clear of Arsenal last season, traveled to Ghana's Emirates Stadium in early October, is what you need to know. That Old Trafford will host the first Manchester derby since City matched United's treble winning feat of 1999 at the end of that month, with the champions meeting that is Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool in the late November, and then the schedule returning to normal after the 2022-2023 season was interrupted by the World Cup in Qatar, includes a mid-season break which will take place in mid-January, with the 10 fixtures split across 2 weekends. These are some of the things that you need to know in regards to the fixtures for the Premier League that will be starting in August right there. And so those teams that have joined the Premier League, and those teams that have remained in the Premier League, and so you have understood which team that Manchester City will be starting with. Manchester City will be starting with Burnley right there for you. Meanwhile, Arsenal will be taking on Manchester City. That will be in early October, and we shall be seeing how it will really go down right there. And don't forget that in the season 2022-2023 we did see that Manchester City defeated Arsenal with 5 points straight. That could not make Arsenal to really move closer to them. The 5 points difference was too great between Manchester City and Arsenal, and so this time around we do not know where Arsenal will be falling right there in terms of the Premier League log for you. And so other stories that we have in the soccer, in the world of soccer this morning, you have to know that we fought like lions. That is VVD is what you need to know right there, that Andrej Kamaric and Mario Pasalic netted in the second half. After that is Daniel Malin sent the dash ahead, but Noah Lang snatched a 96 minutes qualifier to force an additional half hour, and then Bruno Petrovic and Luka Modric struck in extra time to fire Croatia into the Nations League final with the 4 goals to 2 goals victory over host the Netherlands on Wednesday. And so Zlatok Dalik's side, who reached the World Cup semi-finals last year, moved a step closer to that is earning their first ever trophy, and demonstrated once again the extra time specialist. And this is what you need to know in that game that happened between that is Croatia playing the Nations League right there for you. And so dear viewer, with that we have come to the end of the sports update right this morning. Do not forget that exactly 2 we shall be able to have Food Owen together with Lady Susie and Benson, as they will be doing the analysis of the sport right there for you. My name is Dennis Oringi. Thank you very much for being with me right from Monday up to today, Friday 16th of June 2023. Catch me again next week for the same program, the KOKOLIRIKO Live on Westnile Television, and other issues that you would love to know happening in this world, you can as well follow different social media platforms of Westnile Television as well. My personal social media platform right there for you. Have the best of your morning. May the good Lord continue to bless you. And for those who continue to struggle under the sun heat, it is not easy for you to struggle and to see that you put food on table for your family members to eat. And so let's continue with the struggle. We pray that one time God will bless us and will give us that humble time and give us the fresh air that we shall also breathe. And so we continue to struggle, because without struggling, life becomes a little bit very complicated and not easy under the sun heat. Have the best of your morning. I'm out of here. Catch me again next week. Good morning.